In the great words of I Show Speed, Sui. Hey guys, welcome back to The Goal Difference. And today, we're going to take a deeper insight into Cristiano Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan. And he made some damning comments against United, against the Glazers, and he had some spicy comments for current manager Erik ten Hag. So we're just going to take a little comprehensive insight into the interview. And was it fair for Ronaldo to release such an interview, to talk about his time at United thus far, the second spell? And also, he's, as you guys know, he's very frustrated at United. So we'll go through some of the reasons what he has said in the interview. And then we'll see whether was it warranted or was it just a plea for him to, leave the club and a cry for the Glazers to kick him out of the club so that he can move on to greener pastures. Alright, so let me start off by saying that I believe personally as an Arsenal fan, as a neutral to this whole debacle, I believe that United made the first big blunder into signing him after the 2020-2021 season. They overachieved and they finished second. And they believe, the Glazers and the United board believe that they needed a lift to boost their chances into lifting the Premier League title that has eluded them for such a long time. So with that out of the way, let's go into the interview. So for the interview, I must say that what he's saying in the little bits that I've caught thus far is actually fundamentally quite true. He's got really good points. So he starts off by, condemning the Glazers, talking about the lack of investment, the lack of innovation at the club. He talks about the infrastructure of the club really lacking. And he also jokes about how when he left United in 2008, if I'm not wrong, and he came back, things were still the same. Some of the, the infrastructure, the kitchen, he highlighted, the facilities, the jacuzzi, all these kind of small little things. He highlighted quite prominently the fact that it's still the same and there was a lack of investment in that aspect at Manchester United. That being said, I believe that lack of investment in the club facilities, and also you can even make an argument about, the right investment in the players on the pitch. I think most United fans can agree to his point, and that's why also you can see Manchester United having, you can call it like a major protest for the past, ever since the Glazers bought the United franchise. You can see everyone, the fans have been up in arms. They have disagreed with the Glazers, how they're running the club. And then there's a major protest every season, especially recently when Ben Foster did his recent vlog at Old Trafford. He was late for a game because of the fact that there were heavy protests outside Old Trafford. So you can see that the fans, I would believe the fans will agree with Cristiano Ronaldo. The fact that the Glazers have been maybe not the right people to run the club, and they've also not hired the right management and directors and upper management to lead the club to the right direction. And also, now to add a little bit of my own twist to it, the fact that United also has been plagued the issue since Alex Ferguson leaving, Alex Ferguson's departure. They've been signing players at a random, the fact that there's not much direction to the players that they're signing because they are still trying to resurrect the glory days of the Ferguson years. Some examples of players includes Angel Di Maria, Morgan Schneiderlin, Falcao, Alexis Sanchez, Harry Maguire, Donny van de Beek, and also Cristiano Ronaldo. So these players that I've pointed out, right, it goes to show that they are marquee players when they were signed for United, and the fact that they may not be interested in those players. However, during that time, during those transfer windows, they were highly touted. So Manchester United took the plunge and signed these players, and most of these players that I've mentioned have flopped for United in recent years. So those signings that I've just recently mentioned, that kind of heavy investments that was invested in the flops and the signings that didn't pan out for United, it could have easily gone to investment in the club, improving their facilities, their infrastructure, and even hiring a better management to lead the line for United. This furthermore proves the point why United is in such turmoil the past 10 years. And even you can even say that the lack of stability in the manager role, and the Glazers, not investing properly and, hiring the wrong people to lead the club has rightly led United fans to be very angry at the Glazers and United as a whole. And even Ronaldo has come out bashing the Glazers. So I think this is quite fairly warranted from Ronaldo's point of view. But we'll move on to the part of the interview that didn't sit right with me. So thus far in the interview, I think it's really fair criticism for Cristiano Ronaldo to call out United, for the lack of investments at the club, to try and improve the infrastructure at United. However, the next part, as what I said earlier on, I think this rubbed me the wrong way. I think the fact that he talked about how Erik ten Hag he didn't respect Erik ten Hag and a few of the coaches at United. It's just because of the simple fact that he said that Erik ten Hag doesn't respect him. So vice versa, he believes that he shouldn't respect Erik ten Hag. So this is where the interview takes a dive down, in my opinion, because of the fact that when he criticizes Erik ten Hag, who has done quite a alright job thus far, it kind of undermines the whole interview because, it's more of a selfish rant at this point because people will perceive that from Cristiano Ronaldo, and especially the fact that he's not having consistent game time. It doesn't look good for him. Furthermore, to digress a bit, CR7 and his track record in handling he wants to leave his current club. Like when he wanted to leave United for Madrid in the first spell, it was widely known that he wanted to move to Madrid. And after Madrid, he felt that he was not an indispensable member of the Madrid lineup, hence why he wanted to move to Juventus. And then Juventus had some financial issue and he had a falling out with the Juventus board, which led him back to United. So the point I'm trying to make here is that Cristiano Ronaldo does not have such a good track record in terms of how he has handled his exits from his current club and also clubs from before. And what puzzles me the most is that the interview was released at this current juncture. So it really undermines the good progress that United has made thus far under Erik ten Hag. And this definitely would be under the microscope for a lot of fans and the media because it's going to look like a very selfish rant from a player that believes that he's ostracized from the squad. Well, personally, I believe that it looks more of like a selfish rant for him to either force his move out of United or, play his cards because you don't see Casemiro or Varane, his Madrid buddies, backing him up. So to me, that speaks volumes as to who they are picking their sides for. And also, I think they also believe Ronaldo is kind of, I would say a crybaby, a bit of a crybaby, but also the fact that he's taking things out of context at times. And also he's trying to, prove his point that he's being treated unfairly at United. And the English media is going to make a big hoo-ha about this whole situation. They will spin the narrative around. For Ronaldo, it was always going to be a lose-lose during this interview because I think it was a 90 minutes interview. There was jokes about it being like the first full 90 minutes he's received in action this year, a Piers Morgan interview. But nonetheless, the fact that it was a 90 minutes interview, he could be speaking straight facts for 88 minutes. However, the fact that he criticizes Erik ten Hag in that 2 minutes, the media is just going to focus at 2 minutes and it's going to have a very negative PR effect for Ronaldo and his standing with the club. So let's talk about Ronaldo's perspective. I think when Juventus wanted to offload him, he wanted to go to City and then Manchester City. And then after that, Alex Ferguson talked him out of it to convince him to join United. And, they probably made a pitch to him saying that they were close to the Premier League title the year before. And they needed him to be the final piece to the jigsaw puzzle to finally hoist that elusive Premier League title. So I can imagine when Ronaldo joined United, of course the fanfare was amazing. His return back to United, the fans loved it. The manager was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he didn't have a good start to the season and the United board sacked him. And that's when Ralf Rangnick and also Michael Carrick took over, and that's when Ronaldo was like, I think he felt that he was promised a certain ambition of the club. Yeah, but at the end of the day, United was in turmoil. As I said earlier in the video, I believe that they overachieved in the season before. So this is when Ronaldo had to come in and be their top scorer. So he did have a good season actually, So to be fair to him, this interview sums up his frustrations in the past 2 years at United. With that being said, I can kind of understand where he's coming from with the fact that he wanted to clear the air about his situation at United. However, at this timing when Erik ten Hag is leading such a good progress for United and rebuilding the squad, I think it doesn't look good for Ronaldo, as I mentioned earlier on. He's going to be looked at as the fall guy, the devil, for a lack of a better term. Yeah, but he's going to look like the devil here in this whole situation because United are actually doing okay without him. Now with his comments coming out at this timing, especially criticizing the Glazers and Erik ten Hag quite personally, it's not going to look good for Ronaldo in the future for his United career. Before I move on to my next point, I believe that if Ronaldo just talked about the Glazers, and maybe just hinted that he was upset, but, he will believe in Erik ten Hag, the interview will be really well received. It's a fact that United is being mismanaged and being badly run by the Glazers. So with fans and media watching this, I think they will rally behind Ronaldo, such a legend, and buy into his account of how United is not progressing in terms of the big club that they are. I believe that this whole debacle has made United look really bad. I think I would single out United's upper management. It looks really bad, because if I was a rising star and I see this kind of mess happening at Old Trafford, why would I? And they let it prolong, and if they don't take swift actions against Ronaldo in the coming days, if I was a rising star, I wouldn't even dare to go to United. I'll probably just join Manchester City, just right down the road. And for United to get out of this situation quick, I think that's the best case scenario for them. They need to get rid of Ronaldo. Unfortunately, as bitter and as terrible how this situation has delved into, I believe that they need to swiftly end their relationship. You can look at Arsenal. The fact that as an Arsenal fan, it's similar to Aubameyang and Arteta. They had a falling out last year. Arteta took swift measures to ask Arsenal's board to cut his contract, and let him go for free. We had to pay a significant amount to let him go. And I think it has proved dividends, the fact that Arteta can rally the locker room to what he's buying into. And then you can clearly see on the pitch this year, Arsenal has been showing great success. You got to give credit to Arteta when it's due. And I believe that United needs to take cue to what Arteta and Arsenal has done. And they have to do similar actions with Ronaldo and this interview. So as I said earlier, maybe this is Ronaldo trying to play his cards to leave United, force a departure out of United. So it begs the question, if he does leave United, he definitely wants to play top football at another top club. But realistically speaking, who can afford him, and would they want to take a risk of such a potential superstar that could be a cancer in the locker room? So where can he go? Financially, to me, looking at the clubs, in world football, I only believe that Bayern, Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea can afford him, and that could be his potential landing spots in terms of the huge wage demands that he'll probably expect. However, if you look at those three clubs, Bayern with Nagelsmann, he doesn't really fancy a traditional striker up front. So I think that, and I believe that they've got a youth movement going there, so I don't think they'll sign him. Then you look at PSG, they got Messi, Neymar and Mbappe. I think they are well taken care of in the front. And Chelsea, I think they are going through a dip of form, and I believe that signing Ronaldo is not going to help them at all. And I believe Graham Potter is also not looking to sign a superstar that could add more baggage and more turmoil at Chelsea when they are really struggling in their form before the World Cup. So ultimately, the ball is in CR7's hand. Do you think he's going to stick with United, help Erik ten Hag build a contender, which seems to be very unlikely now at this current point, or leave and take a huge wage reduction, and possibly again play first team football? If the assumption is that he's willing to take a huge wage cut, I believe there'll be a lot of clubs that will fancy a move for Ronaldo. But there's one particular club that I think that he should go, and that will be going back to his old club in Sporting Lisbon, where it all started. And they could write a nice storyline for him to still play Champions League football, play in his homeland. The prodigal son returns. So let me just add that thus far, this video is with the current knowledge of what I've seen from the excerpts of the interview. We've not seen the full interview. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that it was justified for Ronaldo to go out and to attack United in such a public interview? Or do you think that he should have played his cards right and, be more reserved and quietly ask for a transfer out in the January transfer window? Personally, I think that Ronaldo, being the superstar that he is, it was natural for him to go to such extent to get that kind of media coverage that he sorely needs. However, the comments that he made, I think, was not right for him. I believe that he shouldn't have gone to such levels. And this only means that if United was smart about this, and the upper management and the Glazers, I believe that they need to move on from this failed project of Ronaldo and United. The relationship that was supposed to be what could have been the final piece in the jigsaw puzzle for United to finally hoist the Premier League title, to now an ugly marriage that is heading for a divorce. Like, comment, subscribe if you do enjoy this video, and also let me know what are the other clubs that Ronaldo could potentially play if he does leave United in the January transfer window. Till next time, I'll see you guys. Brendan from The Goal Difference, signing out.